There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, guys. This is Melissa Wolfe from Sepsis, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to have vocalist Melissa Wolfe and guitarist William Savant of Sepssis. Sepssis have released their new album, Almost 11, via Pavement Entertainment. The new release combines a traditional heavy metal sound with modern rhythms, light synths, and a blend of urban hardcore. Also, check out their premiere music video entitled Blacklight Invasion, which was released late July. Also, Melissa has some amazing artwork. Check out her artwork. So, yeah, I want to throw that in there too. So I knew I'd forget, but there you go, Melissa.
With that introduction, you're hired. You sound like you're selling it. This is great.
All right, folks, we want to do just a quick moment of silence for the passing of several artists that we've lost here lately. Quiet Riot's Frankie Banelli, who passed away at the age of 68, plus Riley Gale, who we lost just the other day from Power Trip at the age of 34. That hurts. That one right there hurts because Riley was a fiery singer. He stood behind what he said, and that band was amazing. If you've not got to check out Power Trip, do yourselves a favor, check them out. And also, we want to do a moment of silence for Brighton Rock lead vocalist Jerry McGehee. So we're going to do that. Then we get right into this interview. How have you both been doing, and what have you been up to during this crazy pandemic other than talking and promoting the new album, Almost 11?
Well, we are doing just fine, other than the fact that there's no shows because of the pandemic. That really stinks. In the meantime, we've been doing, as you know, a lot of artwork. We've been practicing acoustically just to, keep our chops up. I've even been doing some vocal practice on the computer, online, doing some online vocal classes. And we've been doing a lot of live streaming with the fans to stay, in communication with them.
That's the big thing right there. And I'm glad that you guys are taking advantage of that. Some are, some are not. Live streaming right now is huge. I said this from the get-go when I started doing the podcast and my show. Do live streaming, folks. You're going to get fans either way. Either coming to your shows or doing your live streaming. They're going to come and follow you no matter what. So kudos to you guys for doing that, because I think that, in a time like right now, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's
imperative.
Yeah.
It's essential. And another thing is, bands that we've been trying to teach bands this, and it's a very free, for now, temporarily, the internet is an amazing thing. And, me and Melissa have been trying to do this band thing for almost 10 years. We've had a lot of different people come and go, and, people committing and everything else. But I'll tell you that, we didn't have the gas money to get to all the cities that people wanted us to. And the internet from the beginning is something that we understood as a very unique way to connect with people. And people are more comfortable with connecting on the internet with bands that they used to be. And I don't know if, all the huge bands out there, I don't know if they've realized that yet, but now that we're all on the same playing field, you see a lot of other acts kind of figuring it out and going, oh, wow, this is an affordable way to talk with people and to create awareness. So, yeah.
Yeah. When you hit the nail on the head right there, everybody is on an equal playing field right there. Everybody's equal. That's what I like about this. That's the best thing about this. There's no we're the kings of metal. Well, I mean, you guys are basically the same equal now.
If you're, I mean, let's face it, there's tremendous talent, living under the subway. I mean, there's guys that play the guitar with their eyebrows, and you never hear of them because they don't have an address. So they certainly don't have an email address. They don't have a laptop. They don't have a phone. They don't have those things. But they're still incredibly talented. And just like the huge bands and the big venue lockout where you have guys that are really talented can't get to the big venues and can't get to the big promoters, and nobody will listen to them. And it's really equaled the playing field.
Mm-hmm.
We fall somewhere in the middle. So we've been fortunate, but we were hip to it from the very beginning, simply because we were one of those bands that we didn't have a big budget. We didn't have all the connections and the know-how, but we knew our way around on the computer, and we know how to strike up good conversation. And I think retain and create deeper relationships than some other acts out there.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to my horror punk buddies, Blitz Kid. They're doing something. I even thought about doing this, and then lo and behold, here they come, and they're doing it. I was going to have them to do a live stream on my podcast for Halloween, like I normally do every year. So they're doing a All Hallows Eve live stream this year, but it's like a pay-per-view type deal. I'm cool with that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is another big thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been trying to get on.
Yeah, that I know it's a lot of bands and podcasts and radio, even sports, Twitch.
Yeah.
Which has the video game platform, but everyone's
Seems to be turning more into like TV now.
It is, yeah.
That's exactly right, Melissa. Exactly. There's people that pay to watch, and I'll just say right now, folks, Twitch is so wide open, but you can't have like nudity or vulgar stuff like that on there. But you
gotta be careful. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, because you can get banned very easily on Twitch. Easily, people will pay to watch you eat. All you gotta do is sit there and eat. They'll pay you, and they'll watch it.
That is amazing. I can't even believe that.
And
wow.
it's the truth. That is the God's honest truth. I thought, well, I'm going to ride an exercise bike and eat hot dogs. There you go. They'll watch me.
I have like painting on there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's being an artist on there, and obviously, musical artists as well, and gamers.
If you play the drums, big drummers are doing lessons. I mean, even if you're taking, Melissa did a live a few weeks ago of her just doing warm-ups. She had an audience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different time. It's a different time.
Warm-ups aren't the most thing,
Before some of the events, and included amount of events, a totality of events in the last half a year, being musicians, we were some of the first people out of the job, and we'll be some of the last people going into it. So, and being a musician today is like, you have to be a filmmaker. You have to know how to storyboard. You have to know how to buy and sell. You have to know how to design. You have to know how to do team building. It's not, looking for those punk bands you were talking about. I mean, most of the people, to be a musician now, you have to kind of be this studious, character.
Yeah, be a little bit.
You're research and agnostic, and you got to know your way around a computer and
you're like a vlogger,
a business license. Ever since Spotify took over the world, and people eat differently, and it's crazy.
Yeah, especially the ones who were, back in the day didn't know anything about the digital world and were scared to do anything digital and just use 2-inch tape. And now everybody's doing everything digitally and over computers, and they were scared to do that. They were scared to do that. And now look, what are you going to do now? You have to adapt or you're gone.
But people, people listen to music differently. What you're doing here with us is a very good example. Big radio is no longer the powerhouse it was before, because people have the option to listen to your radio station or to tune into this interview. And years ago, we didn't have that seamless ability. So, bands like us, get to play alongside, the Metallicas and the Disturbs we can be on those rotations now. And I think that, it allows competitive art. And I can't say we're hurt. Well, my feelings aren't hurt because it has benefited us. You know what I mean? But I know some people are very traditional. And Melissa's still a CD girl.
Oh, I'm very
she likes to collect.
Do you still have your Walkman for your CD?
I need one. I want one so bad.
I'm sure you can buy them. Yeah.
I was just talking about that. No bullshit.
But our record does CDs too, and like the CDs, they're neck and neck. Like we get a generous amount of CD orders, believe it or not. So that there's still people out there that collect vinyl or so it's a mixed bag. The world's changing.
We get a lot of people that really want the physical disc.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm a digital guy, download digital stuff, but I'm a collector. I have to have that physical copy in my hand. You know what I'm saying? I can do the digital download, that's fine. Give me the physical copy too. I gotta have it.
Yeah, I feel you.
No, and if you support the artist, you have the option of grabbing both. I think that's great.
So Almost 11 is Sepsis' debut album. How does it feel as a band to be signed to Pavement Entertainment and to have an album out as a signed band, guys?
We're still definitely freaking out. I know it doesn't seem like that, but it definitely seems a little cloud-like. It is a little dreamy. I can see how it would be easy to be, if you were an enormous band, I can see how it would be easy to get caught up in it. I know we wake up every day, we get to meet people like you, and talk about something that we've wanted to do our whole lives. Both of us, I think, dreamed since we were kids to have the opportunity to be in the right time, in the right place, and publish some well-rounded, presented material. We've grown a lot, and it's great working with Pavement because they are, they're like almost like a variety style rock and roll label. They have there's a lot of variety there. You see a lot of labels kind of head into one trend or another and stick to their guns, and we're such a different cultural, unique bunch here that by the laws of nature, like Pavement really wound up being a nice place for us to come out and introduce ourselves. We felt like the record was a really good introduction to who we were. Glenn Robertson worked on it. He's our engineer. He's worked with Jason Newsted and Gore and Queensryche and a bunch of other really cool bands. So having him, grace the record and go back into some of our older material and Pavement be patient for us to do that. It's all been really, it's strange because there's supposed to be some tragedy thing that I say here, that we went through some terrible things. We didn't. They love the music. They're excited about the act, and it's tough for people to be excited all the time because, with there being such a popular, demand for super heavy bands or really radio friendly bands, we fall kind of in between at times. So it's really hard to find a good place to nail us down. Mm-hmm. We're kind of the people's metal. And I say that because really we're designed for first listeners of metal, maybe people who've never heard, aggressive music before. I think we're more fit and designed to be one of those bands that could open the door to the culture, in the subgenres alike. I think that we're more of a presentation to that and to generate new ears and new listeners. So working with Pavement's really been good, and they got really good energy, and it's been exciting so far.
Were you guys a little nervous though, releasing this album in this pandemic of everything that's going on?
I think for touring, probably, right?
Yeah, maybe for touring.
Yeah, yeah, and in that sense, I think that, and traditionally we come out with the album, we get a bunch of boxes of it, and we get merchandise and have things to bring with us and create, brand awareness, basically. We'd all get on the tour bus and we'd be touring this thing right now. We had to cancel a lot of dates. I think so. There is a dark side, I guess.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned it, really, that's the dark side, is that there's an enormous demand this year
Really
for
sad
people to
see it.
see us. And that's really where we shine. We try to create our music on CD as close as we can to the real thing, what we really do live. That's why we're a bigger band. It's why we have keyboards in it. It's why we do things a little bit differently, but we're a high energy band. We're something to look at, hopefully, for most people. That's where we really shine, and we try to recreate, closely as we can to what's on the CD. We don't have lots of backing tracks and layering and all that. We try to go in there and, as humanized as possible and try to just create good art, good aggressive art. And we try to create that even more so, on stage and hold it to its integrity. So that would be the biggest dark side, is not being able to pack this thing up and show it to the world the way we really want to, which is like face to face. And
Yeah, because you've got an album out. You can't tour. It's going to be hard to even promote it other than, hey, social media all the time. But
that's it.
That's
and
the part that really sucks.
that gets exhausting.
Sure, sure.
does.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. 2 weeks into this, or 6 months into this, hey, you guys are going to do a live stream of the full album. I mean, it's like, okay, no, no.
We were talking about how people listen to music differently. If you're not out there, shaking hands and creating conversations and building relationships with people, and then really, because that's how, even huge artists like Ozzy Osbourne, let's just say, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was loved, for making rock and roll, but people of all kinds fell in love with him. You know what I mean? When they put the cameras on him, and and we got to go into his house and see him arguing with his kids about homework, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're trying to get a grocery list together, and they can't do it as a family. You know what I mean? Because it's so rock and roll in the house that they just can't put it together.
Yeah.
But that's what the whole world felt. Rock and rollers and heavy metal people loved Ozzy, but the world loved Ozzy. After they got to know him, or at least to the idea. At least within the depths of a person's intelligence. You got to, you realize a person's on a camera, or you realize you see Melissa at a show. There's a certain standard, there's a certain posture and behavior that goes along with that. Just like when we get on stage, there's a certain posture and behavior that we wouldn't have here having an interview. You turn into something completely different when that happens.
She's got that posture that I've seen, like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah. And it's crazy because that's really unlike us off stage. But on stage, we become that.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, if you've not got to listen to Ozzy's new album, you better listen to it. It's really, really good.
Do it.
That's great.
Do it.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan guy now, especially after we lost Dio. I'm from Portsmouth, originally, where Dio's from. He lived his house is right down the street from my house.
Oh, wow.
So I was. Yeah, so after we lost Dio, now I'm just holding on to Ozzy for dear life.
I was lucky enough to actually see Ozzy back in 2010.
I never got to.
I got to see the Ozfest. I was so excited. Yeah,
There
I got
you
to
go.
at least see him once in my life. I'm so happy about that.
That's a gem. That's a golden memory.
I saw Ozfest in 2000. I got to see Static X, Disturbed when Disturbed was nobody.
Wow.
Kitty was
That's
there.
cool.
Yeah, Kitty. I think Kitty was there. Let's see. Soulfly was there. Pantera was there.
Oh, man. This is great.
Godsmack. Yeah, to hear Dime Well. Oh.
I got to see, I think, Rob Zombie in this moment. Who else was there? I believe so, yeah. When In This Moment wasn't that big, but
yeah. To hear Phil on those vocals and just to experience that whole little set that they did. Goodness gracious. I wouldn't trade that for $50 million. No. Nope.
Man, I'm wiggling around just sitting here.
Oh, you know who else was there? God.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is before. This
That was great.
This is before the big lights.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
So the one band that stuck out the most, though, at that show for me that I absolutely fell in love with was POD. That's the crazy thing.
Really?
They slam.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
I've never seen them live.
man, they're huge. They have a
good.
following of their own.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if you know, to each is their own on their own music. But if you like the stuff that I like, and if you can't get into like catchy riffs and drops and stuff like that, and just heavy stuff coming at you and going back into slow stuff, I mean, POD will kick your ass. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I'm into so many different genres of music.
Yeah,
Like, it really doesn't matter for me.
Yeah, is it, you know, especially hard, fast, intelligent, aggressive. We're in it.
Mm-hmm. What's impressed or excited you guys the most about making this album, Almost 11, if anything? Is there anything that sticks out about it for both of you all, possibly?
Working with Glenn Robertson, hands down.
Easily.
Yeah. He was nominated for a Grammy. He's a beast engineer. He knew exactly. He drew a relationship with us as people and to the music. Most importantly, for the job, he was attentive, participating, creative. He even played bass on a song when we just needed some low end, something needed to be there. Guy jumped on the record.
He really opened his ears for this album.
He took care of us.
Oh yeah.
You know, like little babies. he made all of my experience. He made me seem like I was like a kid again, you know, going through something new. So, with all the experience, I'm kind of the big brother of the band. So sometimes I think I know it all, but Glenn knocked the wind and ego right out of me and taught me how to mix a fat record. And I put a million hats off to his elegance and his ability as a human being to conversate and educate. The guy is slamming.
I tip my hat all the way.
He's slamming.
Did he take this band to the level you wanted it to go, or met your expectations, or above your expectations?
Above.
I do a lot of the composing and the arranging, which is one thing. And when you're composing and arranging, it's very important when it makes it to the most senior engineer. It's very important that they don't lose the integrity of what you're trying to speak. And it's just like he somehow honed in to what I honestly, I couldn't accomplish it with all the equipment in the world. I couldn't accomplish it without the gentle hand of a doctor.
Sure.
And you know what I mean? And
mm-hmm.
and he and that's not that's not because it's not because we were struggling with the arrangements. No, we needed somebody who knew how to take the arrangements as they are, and on a pure level of understanding frequencies, and because we have so many instruments in the band, and we don't do a lot of layering and things of that nature, but just having a keyboard part in there and having me sing along with Melissa, with two guitars playing, creates for a lot of sound, especially with big high gain guitar and us wanting it to sound rich and fat. If you put that mix in against most mixes, you're going to find it's wider, louder. So if you have appreciation for our music, it's going to be the brightest, loudest thing playing. He accomplished something that I put this stuff in the spectrum meter inside the DAW, and me and my partner know our way around. We work at a studio here in town, and we just knew that we wanted something huge sounding, and he did it, man. He blew my wig right off. I know because I mix the stuff before it goes out. Me and my partner do, and we look at it, and we have a nice studio. We work at a studio here, and we record and mix and master other bands and rappers and R&B singers, and every day. It's what we do for a side job. And we just, when it came to how Sepsis should sound. We just knew it had to be, you know, loud and rich and crystalline. And, you know, we don't have, you know, we just don't have the ability, the education that goes into something in Glenn Robertson's skill set. We just knew when it come to it. We played over and over and over, and we go, and people, I know, we get feedback. We're one of the few bands that'll throw stuff up online and say, okay, let us have it. We could take a punch, you know, and we put the demos up. And that you asked earlier why we released the record and did we have any fear? No, because, you know, there was such a demand for it, like a, come on guys, just drop the record, you know, kind of feeling, because, you know, we've had our time to kind of, as Melissa said, you know, cut our teeth, and people just really wanted to hear a finished product. And when we sat down over and over and over again and started chewing through it, we humbly, we had to, you know, shed the ego a little bit and say, we need somebody that's, you know, that's qualified to take a look at this. And it, you know, and it wasn't a sick album. It didn't suffer from any illness. We just knew that we couldn't reach a frequency range, a loudness range, you know, placed against other mixes. It was quiet, it was tender. And, you know, we were using amp sims and different things, and it was too digital and too, you know, recording guitars, like a big analog feed, and we wanted that. And we just needed that to come out and be polished, and he accomplished it, man. Blew my eyebrows right off.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the album? I know it must change every time that you guys listen to it. I know these are your babies, but are there any that stick out for the both of you?
No one's ever said that before. You get it.
Right?
Oh, that's great.
So do we have a personal favorite? That's what you're asking?
Yeah, so now, Melissa, you can't answer. Now, because she was going to give you the cliche bullshit answer.
Well, yeah, I do like all of them. You're absolutely right. But my favorite at the moment is actually Sweet Nothings. And it's a newer song. It just came out.
And it's, yeah. I like that song, too, because it's really weird and risky. I think it's risky. We like to push the limit of, you know, what could be considered heavy music or what could be considered hard rock or metal. And we like to really push the limits on that on both ends. Let's see how dirty we can get it. Let's see how clean we can get it. I'll you know, for me, oh my goodness. I'm on the other end of this. It's party time for me. I'm going to go with Push.
Ooh.
I feel like a party.
I feel like this for all of them, though.
No, it's party time for me. So Push is going to be it.
Melissa was going to give me that bullshit cliche of like the breakup. You know, man, it's not you. It's me. You know, it's always just me. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've been down that road many times. I was like, what the fuck? Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Bitch. Nope. Well, maybe. We'll see. So Melissa sings clean vocals while you, William, you add harsher vocals. How does your part of this equal balance of the vocals fit like this, man? Because you've got to come up with something to be equal through each song. How do y'all work together on this for that?
I in the confines of the mic booth sometimes have to make my voice more like a woman's voice. This probably sounds crazy to you.
Whatever it takes.
This is not even even the dead air was dead. That shit was like, wait, what? No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. Sometimes, so like if she's singing a clean part and I'm backing her up, I'll kind of make my voice, honestly, in timbre like more feminine, like not my talking voice, like I'm talking to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
right.
it's a little bit bizarre. And of course, you know, we would talk about Glenn Robertson and everything like that. The most challenging part, I think, when we were recording it was trying to get the frequencies of that mix of timbres kind of either interfering or clashing with each other. You know what I mean? So that was one of the big things, that we both have such different voices. But from the beginning, we write most of our music on a little classic acoustic guitar, just to make sure that it's a song and it can stand up and then it goes from beginning and to end, just practically, before we metalize it, before we kick the shit out of it, or think about screaming anything or any stabs or breakdowns or fills. We just put it on the acoustic guitar and we have some words for it so it can, so it can exist, so it can be a song. And we will kind of audition it with each other, a la folk style. And we'll have to do this, and this is how we figured it out. We'll have to do this because a lot of times I'll write a chunk or she'll write a chunk. And a lot of the times because I'm composing the guitars and everything else, I'll have to come to her and suggest melodies or suggest changes in the notes. So I'll have to sing it like a girl. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'll have to.
I'll be like, hey, can you do it like this? Or
right,
like,
and I'll have to la 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 and ooh ooh I.
Kind of like the ice cream song.
Right, and then and if we don't have lyrics for something, I'll come up with a substitute jingle. And it's Swarm. The song Swarm on the record is a very good example of that. I wrote initially there were no words to it, so I had written it about ice cream. And the different flavors of ice cream. I like it's horrible. I understand that, but that was a way for me to sit down and dictate to her. You know what I'm saying, the notation of the song when I was presenting it to her. So a lot of the times we'll figure out harmony notes and where screams will go based on just auditioning it a lot.
So try singing the Swarm, but sing it like ice cream.
He's never gonna listen to that song ever again. Now, that. He's never going to play it ever. He'll never play again.
Well, at least it's not like a version of like bring your milkshake to the yard. So there you go.
No.
Oh my God. Oh, jeez.
No. Not. But no. And then of course, like there's like ways to do screams in a textural way that don't interfere with her singing notes, and I have to think about that going into it, and I have to be with the microphone for a while and kind of find a great texture, and then of course a healthy EQ to so it doesn't interfere with the other the main vocal parts, and doing it in such a graceful way where it's not jarring or it seems like it's sitting on top or outside of the music. Having it all exist together is really the tricky part.
So see, Melissa already causing controversy already.
See?
Sorry.
The band broke up because she made me sing the ice cream song. Then it turned into the milkshake. Oh my God.
No, but it's a cherry pie song. That guy hates that song, and see what happened.
So are there any songs that didn't make this album that we could see down the line on another album possibly, or are they just gone? No, we're just writing new ones.
Possibly. I think we have one so far, No Strings Attached.
Yeah. So we had, like a slower song. We wound up just making like a YouTube out of it, and it was great. It got like 200,000 plays on Facebook. It was pretty good. Like people liked it. It wasn't our bag. It really wasn't our bag. And we've sung it before. Like you hit a bar and you got some extra time and you want to wind things down, or it's the right mood for it. We've had a few songs here and there, but that one being the main one that people were like, oh no. How come No Strings Attached? It just didn't really fit style. It's a nice song,
but not for this album.
Right. If we had like an acoustic album that came out, perfect. Or like a folk album, just because there's really no way to.
So maybe in the future.
It's a pretty song, but to metalize it, quote unquote, it would just be really hokey. I think that would ruin it. I think it would, and I think it might ruin the integrity of it. So it was just one of those things that we decided to leave out.
Do you guys see this band still musically growing or being challenged as musicians since the formation? Do you see it taking it to that next level?
Oh, the next album for sure is going to be an album of growth.
Yeah, we have 4 songs of it. We have, the Skeletons. but there's 4 songs like the instrumentals completed, and it's completely. You can absolutely, and if you know the chronology of the band, with on Almost 11, there is the song Sweet Nothings, Push, More Than Before. I think being the newer ones, you can actually, if comparable to the rest of the album, those are maybe a little bit different in the way that they're spearheaded. You can see some risks. We've taken a few risks on it. But if you looked at the chronology of that and understood it, you would see that continue in the next music. It's definitely very physically and music theory challenging. So we're hoping also to get. There's only a few people of the performing act that really got the opportunity to record on the last album. I think Cam, our other guitar player, and our keyboard player, Mr. Good Bars, is on the original album.
And Johnny had some screams.
And some screams, but they didn't have a time. We were cleaning up already when John and Tim came back in the mix. They were working on projects before that. So when we got them back in the mix, it was me and Melissa had cleaned most of it up with the engineer. So when we were happy with what we got, there was really no sonic space left. Cam was fortunate to get on some guitar parts on Almost 11. But, like most bands, most of our lives together are on stage. So, when talking about and creating awareness about the record, I want to make it clear that, those boys play like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they bust their ass. And if anything else, I wouldn't want the album to, not that it would, but to deter anybody or stop you from one moment to come in and see it live, because it's such a whole different experience. And maybe it's just I'm voicing that because I'm missing it more than ever and pointing it out in the interview. I'm like, wow. And my amplifier is sitting in my bedroom. And so I'm like, really, we're not, so it does feel out of place at the time.
Yeah.
And not to scare people to be excited about the album. But and I'm not disappointed, because I think that we're going to get a lot more from them on this next album. Mm-hmm. So we really want Almost 11 to be a big introduction to our sound. And when we talk about growth, I think that that's what Almost 11 is set out to do. We never really want to be like, we don't have to be the favorite, we don't have to be the best, but what I'm saying, we're definitely like a band that we think is worth, having as when we put out albums. It's going to be a collection of material, and it's a band that you can grow with. So I think you're going to see just that. We're responsive to our fans. We have thick skin, and we have and do include and take on feedback from people that listen to our music and buy our music and our T-shirts. And if anything, the feedback, the criticism, the encouragement, all of it has, been a big part in participating, making Almost 11, and the growth that's going into making the new music. Like, everyone is really a part of it. We're the people's metal, I'm telling you.
All right, Melissa, this is for you. Working with Glenn, correct? I want to make sure I get this right. Worked with Glenn.
Yes.
What did he get out of you? Did he push you to your limit on this as vocal or anything like that? Did he bring something out of you that maybe somebody else may not have gotten?
I want to say yes on this one. I believe so.
He didn't slam you.
Yeah, he didn't slam me with auto-tune or anything of that sort. So, and he gave me a couple pointers, if something was out of whack. Mm-hmm. And
gentle.
Yeah, I would go back and just work on that if it did happen. And yeah.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Sepssis music in general? What do you hope they get from it?
I hope that people get to hear a lot of the energy that we put into the album. I hope that people come together. That's my hope.
For the both of you, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark, if you can recall, possibly? What was it?
What made me become a musician, actually, I've had musicians in my life, my whole life. So that's really helped. My father was a guitar player. He had a band when I was younger. So it didn't take me long as I grew up to realize I wanted to be in a band of my own. And I met William through a Craigslist ad about 10 years ago.
Good thing it wasn't the Craigslist killer.
All right.
Right.
After responding to his ad, I met up with him in his creaky old basement in the middle of Manchester. And I had a
Right. Yeah, she met me on Craigslist, and I'm saying we're auditioning, singers. and I don't know if you know anything about New England at all, but Manchester is kind of a hot to trot spot. If you're in the wrong area, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So she comes to Manchester, and it's true. I had this makeshift studio dungeon band room. And like the water was leaking from the ceilings.
Oh God!
And every smoking cigarettes. I mean, it's horrible. There's strange people on the steps drinking 40 ounces. I mean, neighbors outside arguing. That kind of fireworks going off in the middle of the street. And that's where we had our audition.
There was another girl that was supposed to show up the same day. I believe her name was Ashley, and she never showed up. So I got the part.
Is there a country, guys, that stands out or shocks you both that Sepsis gets support from, or Sepsis music gets played in possibly? Has there been any location that kind of like shocks you guys possibly?
Brazil. We both said it.
Yeah, they like us in Brazil.
Yeah.
That's good though. You're branching out overseas. I tell anybody that if your local band, whatever, here in the U.S. and somebody picks you up overseas, that's good.
Yeah, we've been covering a little bit of press over there, and this is like from a while ago, like when the demos were out. They were asking to talk to us. They call us back often.
I just know they're not so fond of metal over there, so
where?
Brazil.
Really?
No, apparently that's true. No, that's not true at all.
I was gonna say when this happened.
Oh no, she's right. I know what she's saying. Because we've had interviews before, and the DJs have told us that some of our music isn't allowed some places.
Oh, okay.
Right.
There was like a few of our songs, the content, Eyes of Empathy is about a murder,
okay.
and et cetera, and so they couldn't play Eyes of Empathy because of different structures they had. So no, Melissa was right about that. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
I was trying to get that.
Me too. I was like, when did this happen? Yeah. What?
No,
they like it.
There was like we were on the phone with one DJ one time, and all of a sudden you hear in the background like dogs barking, and like you can hear the nervousness like in his, or like the alertiveness like in his voice,
wow.
that he was highly. And we're like, so eventually, because I'm nosy, I'm like, hey, like, what the fuck is that in the background? And he's like,
yeah,
and you're hearing like, I don't want to say like gunshots, but you're hearing like pops and screams and dogs barking. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? He's like, well, my country's going through a tough time right now. And I'm like, and you're like, and I'm like, where are you? And he's like, I'm in my flat, doing my podcast. And I'm like, are you like, it's like, are you safe or whatever? And he's going, he's like, no, my country's going through, civil unrest. And I was like, wow.
Oh,
but I'm saying that now, and now we are too, I guess.
Yeah, I see that. We're living in a different time right now. That is for sure. Did you both have a go-to album or song when you guys were younger, or maybe now, that affected you as far as giving you inspiration, or just let you escape, possibly?
That's a lot of songs.
There are a lot of greats out there for sure. But I'll be completely honest. I've been focusing more on our own music and our own career.
You don't have nothing fake. You don't have how about ever?
Not like
Forget
an album
now.
that really like inspired me. I can't say a specific album. There are so many.
No, man. That was no. No, you have some fortitude to say that. I can respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose I've had times like that when I've just been like taking personal inventory and trying trying to reach something. So I have because I won't listen to any heavy metal while I'm writing metal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. There's a lot of...
I've said that to people before, and they're like, what? What are you saying, dude? And I'm like, no, because I don't want any influences. I don't want to...
Right.
I don't want to be... Because here's the thing about art. If you set out and you're like, I want to be the best or the favorite, or you pick a favorite, or you wind up being influenced or trying to, you might make your voice sound like your favorite singer. You might try to step outside yourself and
I was trying to be me.
Right.
Not
right.
else.
And no, it's hard for people to create without having an effect from the outside. So I get it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell she was talking about.
It's understandable because, I've had many, many musicians on here that's been, heavy metal guys that I consider icons in my book. They're the same as Melissa. They cannot listen to heavy metal during their writing time. They can't do it. They have to listen to like jazz or something softer. I mean, honestly, and it blows my mind because I'm going, how? I mean,
no, I'm with it.
And
especially if like writing it and you're mixing it, you're recording it. Like we're in the process of recording again. Obviously, that's what musicians do. People go, "What do you do now after the album's released?"
Write more.
Well, we write music and record it. We write more music and we record it. That's what So it's like that's what we're doing. And because you have to use your time wisely. Any smart musician going through what the world's going through right now, you can't tour. So you can't make those handshakes. So you only have to write and record, and so if you're listening to metal and for breakfast and lunch, or you get off of work, listen to heavy metal, and you listen to high gain guitars hour after hour, you kind of forget what your sound is supposed to be. It's not even your fault. Like as a person, if you're listening to
something too much.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, Zack Wild, like you look at Zack Wild, Ozzy was having issues with Zack Wild because he said everything sounded like Black Label Society and not like, so that happens. They're still good friends.
I love Black Label.
Me too. Beautiful, beautiful player.
Yes, he is.
I would sit there and be quiet and I would just watch.
I've got to interview him one time. Actually seen him at Rock on the Range right in front of me in the media tent. He walked right by me during a guitar solo he was doing, and I was in the front row. He walked right by me. So, yeah, I've had my encounters with Mr. Zack Wild many times. So
all these technical, math guys and math metal guys always ask me, oh, man, how come you play the blues notes in your solos? Well, I said, man, Zack, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Zack, man. I got to have some sexiness in my solos, at least a little bit. I got something that's understandable, something that's likable immediately.
And that dude, and the dude don't stop practicing. I mean, he's constantly 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours a day whamming on the guitar. I don't know about now since everybody's home and he's got his kids and stuff, but the guy don't stop. He's got a guitar in every room. I guarantee it. So that's why, so when he goes and visit each kid in each room, there's a guitar in there. That'd be cool. and oh my God, I love his softer side. Like, oh crap, I'm losing my thought here of the songs. But anyway, he's done some softer songs that were just blows my mind. Like, Spoken the Wheel. Yeah. You say that and that, and I'm thinking, and of course, as a musician, I compare my shit to show tunes. I'll compare my shit to whatever. So, and thinking about Zack and that style of playing and why I like it so much is there's a kind of a really graceful, psychotic mood switch he can do with that. With that, there's so much bashing and smashing going on, and there's a million bands that can do that, but to control that speed and that elegant right hand attack on the guitar and be able to slow things down, and speed them up, and just to be able to capture an emotional movement, in heavy music, he's got that ability, and once again. You don't gotta put the sticks to the heads to make intelligent music. It's just really
something special.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Sepsis' debut album, Almost 11, via Pavement Entertainment. You will not be disappointed. Give these folks a fair shot. You will not be disappointed. Melissa and William, how can folks stay in touch with you all, buy some merchandise, tour dates when this all does get back to normal, and stay in touch with you all? How can they do that?
Well, the best place to find us is, of course, our website at sepsis.com. That's SEPSISS.com. And, of course, you can find us on all social media, really, Spotify, iTunes.
And Melissa and our merch girl, we call her the celebrity merch girl, Lexi, they go live on Sunday evenings. We usually say, like, after dinner. Look for them on Facebook. They go live. They talk to the fans. They do Q&As. They play games. There's the Sepsis Wheel of Death. They play another game with balloons called Get It Popping, where people can win prizes and stickers and CDs and shirts, or just they hang out. It's pretty cool. So they usually stay on for an hour or two and hang out with everybody. So look for them too on Sundays.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Yeah. Make Melissa do it because it's going to be awkward.
Hey, guys, this is Melissa Wolfe from Sepsis, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube links, and also all the other links that we are associated with. And please subscribe to our YouTube page and all the links that we are associated with. So please do that for us. Also pick up Sepsis' debut album, Almost 11, via Pavement Entertainment. Again, you will not be disappointed. So Melissa and William, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, and you're welcome on here anytime, but no ice cream.
Thank you.
So much.
Yeah,
Very
thanks for
happy
having
to
us,
be
man.
here.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.